codes and its work among African states cannot be overemphasized. This will give the code its deserved visibility, and it will also encourage more members to take up their share of responsibility. Third, only a small number of cases have been finalized in the court as compared to those that have been received. And this calls for enhanced capacity and resources within the court. Equally important, periodic review of the rules of the court should be done in order to meet the emerging needs and challenges from time to time. And from the time of filing cases, admission, hearing, and judgment delivery. Fourthly, despite its usefulness, the legal aid scheme has remained with insufficient funds to cater for many indigent, less privileged applicants. It is incumbent on all of us to make a difference. Otherwise, most of the good intentions for the creation of this code may remain on paper. Mr. President, distinguished participants, as you will also appreciate, the challenges are many. So it behoves us to assemble a great deal of political will and sense of urgency in addressing them. On this note, I should like to stress that the leadership in the continent has the power in forging a new path for things in the coming decade or so of this code. And as I conclude my remarks, let me ascribe to the views of Fran Lowe that experience is a hard teacher because she gives tests first, the lessons afterwards. We have been tested enough, and the decade-long experience of this code should be able to take us to the level that will see the code thrive and save our people better. We can do it, and our people depend on all of us. Indeed, the success of this code, which Mr. President has called the code for all Africans, can only be realized if we are all committed to the promotion and protection of human rights by discharging our obligations in utmost good faith, and also if individuals are informed of their rights. We should, in our respective countries, sit with the national human rights institutions, take up their active role of independently monitoring the role of governments and civil society in supplementing efforts by the government through many ways, including resource mobilization. Mr. President, distinguished participants, having made these few remarks, it now gives me great pleasure to declare the International Symposium in commemorating the 10th anniversary of the African Code for Human and People's Rights officially open. I thank you for your kind attention. Happy anniversary, Mr. President, and all distinguished participants.
Et également concernant tout le continent. Distingués invités, mesdames et messieurs, une autre question à laquelle on ne reviendra jamais assez est celle de la place des droits des femmes dans le système africain des droits de l'homme. Puisque nous y accorderons une attention spéciale au cours de ce dialogue, je souhaite souligner avec une certaine gravité qu'en dépit de son caractère révolutionnaire, la mise en œuvre du protocole de Maputo est restée embryonnaire. Nous devons sans doute nous interroger sur les raisons d'une telle situation, notamment dans un contexte où l'accès direct à la Cour est toujours restreint par un nombre très modeste de déclarations. Enfin, une dernière question qu'il me plaît de soulever est celle de la nécessité pour les institutions continentales des droits de l'homme de fonctionner dans une synergie active avec les organes des ensembles économiques régionaux. L'adoption par la CEDEAO, la communauté de l'Afrique de l'Est, et la SADC de normes similaires sur les droits de l'homme, la démocratie et la gouvernance nous imposent de travailler davantage vers la convergence plutôt que dans la duplication. La Cour, par ma voix, espère vivement que le plan stratégique décennal pour les droits de l'homme qui est en cours de préparation puisera abondamment dans les délibérations de ce dialogue pour inspirer les grandes lignes directrices de notre action concertée pour le renforcement de l'architecture normative et institutionnelle des droits de l'homme en Afrique au cours de la prochaine décennie. C'est sur ce note d'espoir que je termine mes propos en souhaitant plein succès et de fructueuses délibérations à nos travaux. Je vous remercie. It's now my great privilege to introduce the Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania, His Excellency Madam Samia Suluhu Hassan.
Mr. President, Honorable Justice Dr. Bore, President of the African Court on Human and People's Rights, Honorable Justice Ben Koiko, Vice President of the African Court on Human and People's Rights, Honorable Judges of the African Court on Human and People's Rights, Honorable Manchande, Chief Justice of Tanzania, the Regional Commissioner of Arusha, Honorable Mrisho Gambo, Honorable former Presidents, Vice Presidents, and Judges of the African Court on Human and People's Rights, Ambassador Daniel Sabatus, EU Head of Delegation in AU, distinguished senior officials, distinguished invited guests, and in the interest of time, I just say I'm recognizing the presence of all high dignitaries from the AU African courts and from your respective countries. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I've come to this distinguished gathering as a representative of His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. The court has extended to him an invitation to press this auspicious dialogue, and he had equally wished to join you personally. However, due to pressing exigencies, he couldn't. His Excellency, the President wishes you successful deliberations. Henceforth, I kindly ask you to indulge me this honor of representing him, and rest assured that I'll be absolutely faithful to his instructions and true to the feedback that I'll get from this dialogue. And at this juncture, let me take this opportunity on behalf of the government and the people of the United Republic of Tanzania to extend to you a very hearty and cordial welcome to our country and to this forum. I trust that the organizers have done everything within their means to make you feel at home. Karibuni sana. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, 2016 has been declared as the Year of Human Rights in Africa. It marks the 35th anniversary of the adaptation of the African Charter, the 30th anniversary of the entry into force of the African Charter, the 29th anniversary of operationalization of the African Union Commission on Human and People's Rights, and the 10th anniversary of the operationalization of the African Court on Human and People's Rights, commonly known as the African Court. I'd like to join my fellow Africans in commending the African Union for the achievements that have been attained over the years, especially in the areas of human rights. I understand that there have been challenges all along, but they have been overcome both individually and collectively. The challenges are always there. We should continue with the efforts toward the full realization of human rights of our citizens. Equally important, we should not be blinded by this success and headways. Rather, we should be able to assess whether they have made significant impact to the majority of our people in the continent. And the bitter truth is that human rights violation is still notable in various parts of our continent, especially among women and children who are mostly affected. But despite the existing intricate correlation between human rights and women's rights, we still continue to experience, among other things, the existence practice of female genital mutilation and early marriages, few education opportunities, low wages, human trafficking, domestic abuse, and gender-based violence. As for female genital mutilation, apart from criminalizing the offense, we have taken measures to sensitize the mass through various media campaigns in collaboration with the civil society. This has proven to be successful, and we have registered a notable reduction of such incidences. Overall, the government has continued in its effort to sensitize and localize the sustainable development goals at all levels. To this end, we have succeeded in incorporating these goals in the strategic plans of the government or government entities and agencies so as to ensure ownership of the goals for the effective implementation. So far, 11 regions of the Central and Southern Highland zones with 70 district councils have been sensitized, and the work continues. With these achievements, I take the liberty to restate the government's commitment towards promotion of human rights in all spheres of life, with a special focus to women's rights, while reflecting on accelerating the realization of gender equality and women empowerment, as stipulated under the theme 2015 Year of Women Empowerment and Development towards African Agenda 2063. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this dialogue under the theme reflecting, celebrating, and advancing human and people's rights comes at an opportune moment. Many countries in Africa are at the stage of transforming their economies so as to graduate to middle-income economies. It goes without doubt, therefore, that this state of affairs will come with human rights issues as well. Industrialization, more foreign direct investment, and other initiatives to achieve development agenda will certainly impact the lives of our people as well as the situation of human rights, hence calls for protection from human rights violation. It is heartwarming to see that the 5 days forum is not only graced by renowned speakers from the human rights fraternity, but will also provide the variety of participants from across the continent an opportunity to delve and engage in meaningful discussions that will enrich the dialogue and make it relevant, as it will result into an informed outcome for the betterment of our people, as articulated in the Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. I am aware that the symposium held in the past 2 days has provided an opportunity to make a critical assessment on the operations of the court in the last decade, with a view of making recommendations that will enhance its effectiveness. It is my hope that the same enthusiasm that was present throughout the symposium will be exerted in this important dialogue as well. You will agree with me that there is hope as new continental institutions and policy frameworks addressing the challenges facing the continent are well in place. These include, among others, the transformation of the then Organization for African Unity into the current African Union, the establishment of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, and the establishment of the African Court on Human and People's Rights. To top it off, aspiration number 3 of the Agenda 2063 envisions Africa to be a continent of democratic value, cultural practices, universal principles of human rights, gender equality, justice, and rule of law. However, these aspirations can only be realized if taken seriously by all of us, both by deeds and by actions. In emphasizing this, I would like to express that efforts made by African countries and the African Union in the promotion of human rights in the continent cannot be overstated. We should be proud to have the most up-to-date human rights instruments on earth, covering all sorts of rights, from human to people's rights. This was made possible through the dedication of our forefathers who cherished human rights values, which we continue to embrace by enshrining these rights into the Charter. They enable a great deal of promotion, protection, and enforcement of these rights. Despite these achievements, I urge all African human rights institutions to continue their efforts in addressing challenges related to the promotion and protection of these rights in order to maintain their relevance. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like at this point to single out the protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which established the African Court on Human and People's Rights, which among other judicial innovations allows individuals and non-government organizations to access the courts when their rights are being infringed. The United Republic of Tanzania is honored to be one of the AU member states that have ratified the protocol establishing the African Court and have made the declaration that allows NGO and individuals to access the court. And on this note, I call upon other African countries that have neither ratified nor made this declaration to do so. We should take cognizance that this court is ours. We are the ones that will make it weaker or stronger. We should not kill our own child, but instead strive to nurture and make it grow. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is on record that Tanzania has been assessed by the African peer review mechanism as well as by the Universal Periodic Review mechanism. It is also on record that we have implemented the recommendations by these two institutions at a satisfactory level. We are determined to keep this momentum toward the full realization of human rights to all Tanzanians. As a staunch member of the African Union, Tanzania holds to the highest esteem the principles of good governance, democracy, respect for human rights, justice, and the rule of law. We have put in place a number of institutions to promote and protect human rights in the country. We have not only signed and ratified international and regional human rights instruments, but also domesticated them to enhance their effective implementation. The government has continued to review and repeal outdated laws as well as enactment of new legislation, such as the Law of the Child Act of 2009 and the recent one in May 2016, the amendment of the Education Act of 1978 with a view to safeguarding the rights of women and girls. We have improved a number of policies and institutional frameworks with a view to creating an enabling environment towards realization of gender equality, children welfare, and women empowerment. It is because of this, Tanzania has been among the pathfinder countries in translating the SDG 5 and 16. Furthermore, we have made collaborative efforts to merge our national strategies addressing women and children's rights in one comprehensive national plan of action. In terms of women economic empowerment, the government has taken various gender-based initiatives in support of the cause. To this end, the Women Development Fund, Tanzania Women Bank, and the Economic Empowerment Council have been established with a view to improving and increasing opportunities to rural-setting women and accessing credit facilities such as provision of soft loans in order to improve their economic status. I'm pleased to inform this August gathering that February this year, I was appointed as one of the panel members of the United Nations Secretary General High-Level Panel on Women Economic Empowerment to oversee the eastern and southern regions of Africa. One of my defining moments on this role was launching the National Women Economic Forum in June this year with the aim of identifying gaps, challenges, and opportunities in women economic empowerment. I've continued to push through this agenda by endeavoring to ensure that these economic fora are formed throughout the country from the grassroots to the national level. You will hear more of our efforts towards improving economic empowerment from the permanent Secretary Minister of Health, Social Welfare and Children when she will be given an opportunity to speak. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on efforts to curb corrupt practice or practices, our government has taken steps to establish a special division within the High Court of Tanzania to prosecute economic saboteurs and corrupt officials, and therefore enhance the dispensation of justice in Tanzania.